Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm here today to talk to Rodney about his work. Rodney?
And we have on the screen there a most beautiful part of England, which is a broad estuary on the east coast of England. We live on the very edge of this estuary. Our house overlooks a wonderful view, which is constantly changing, because the tide goes, and you can look at the same piece of the river for a year, and it's different every day. And it's really inspiring. And what I prefer to do is go out and paint on plein air, which is not always possible.
And just to make sure that by plein air you mean you go outside in nature and paint directly?
Paint directly from nature, which is always the best thing, because you can feel nature then, and you have to work quickly, and you can't sit and think about things. You simply have to look, observe, and get it down quickly. And I paint always with palette knives, not a paintbrush. All I do with a paintbrush is the very tiniest dots of paint, and my initials down in the corner. Otherwise, I use the largest appropriate knife and just wipe the paint across the surface. And it's a very quick painting process. And very quick to tidy up too. No nasty, messy brushes to wash afterwards. And that is what I enjoy doing, to capture a scene very quickly. Here you have it on the river, and I will confess this one was not painted out in the open. This was a winter painting done in the studio. So I had to rely on a photograph, and I took a very small corner of a photograph and enlarged it, shaped it until I had the subject framed how I wanted it. And here you have a beautiful Thames barge, which is the focal point of the picture. They are lovely old sailing boats. They draw only a foot or two of water. They can sail way inland up the little rivers of England, and they can go out to sea. And they used to trade up and down the coast. They would take food down to London, and they'd bring horse shit back out of London to spread on the fields.
Important thing to know. I don't know if they bring that now, but they probably still bring trash.
They're used purely for pleasure sailing now. And at least once a year, you have a race of the barges. And they go down one river into a large area called Harwich Harbour, where the big cross-channel ferries come in. And they go back up another river, sometimes out to sea. Depends on the wind. And if you're lucky, you can catch them on that day and paint them. So this is actually based on the photograph, in order to give me the structure of the ship, and then one can invent the scenery behind it. And that is a typical East Anglian skyline, which looks enormous, because in East Anglia, that part of England, we have very few hills. They're very small hills. It's beautiful countryside, but because everything is fairly flat, the sky looks enormous. And that has to be most of any landscape picture in East Anglia, really.
And is there a lot of wind there?
There can be, yes.
Because the thing is, the drier the air and the wind will keep the air dry, then the further you can see.
That's true, yes.
And that also, because in the west of the United States, you get the same effect of it being very large because it's dry, and you can literally see further.
And then you have the other peculiar effect. When the weather is actually damp, you can see things more clearly.
Yes, because there's more light.
They're sharper focus. But I have to be inspired to paint my best. And it really must be something I want to paint, because it's really fired my imagination. Sometimes I'm given a commission to paint something which somebody wants painted. It's never as easy, because they have chosen the subject, not me. I have to walk around, try and find an angle which befits me, begin to think about painting. If I choose for myself.
And the final question is, what is water for you?
Water for me is actually freedom, because I can take a 5-minute walk from my house down to the water's edge. I can stand there and think, from this point, I can get in the boat and go anywhere in the world. It's always been like that. It's a wonderful, liberating feeling. And that's not the reason I paint water. I just love the reflection of water. The water appears in nearly all my paintings.
Lovely. And thank you very much, Rodney. And Rodney, just so your name right, it's Rodney
Freeman.
Freeman. Okay. And you can find his work here in Molyneux this week. And after that, you can find it in East Anglia on the beautiful river. Or is that on the ocean, actually?
That's on the river. That's the River Stour, that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.